We're happy to see everyone today on
VH.
TV. I'm Kai Cooper.
I'm Hannah Adede.
I'm Carter Matu Carbo.
And I'm Patricia New, and we are your anchors for VH TV.
Today we are coming here to discuss the news of today and what to know and expect with the presidencies of George W. Bush and Barack Obama.
Have you all heard of the news lately with President George W. Bush?
No, can you tell us about it?
Well, George W. Bush first entered office in 2001 and served to 2009. When Bush entered office, he was a Republican president with a majority in both houses of Congress since Dwight Eisenhower in the 1950s. One of Bush's first initiatives was getting the tax cut bill in 2001. Congress passed the $1.35 billion tax cut bill in June of 2001. In January 2002, Bush signed the No Child Left Behind Act, which introduced big changes in the school's curriculum of the country's public school system. This act requires states to test all students in English and mathematics each year from the 3rd to 8th grade. After 9/11, most of Bush's presidency was focused on American safeties and terrorism problem. Bush declared a war on terrorism. He said that the country would not rest until every terrorist group or global reach has found, stopped, and defeated. After Afghanistan refused to give over Osama bin Laden, Bush declared war on them. The U.S. Special Forces and Afghan troops overthrew the Taliban government. Bush signed the Patriot Act in October 2001 to expand the search and surveillance powers of the FBI. Homeland Security was created to complete thorough background checks on airport searches. The National Security Agency was also authorized in January 2002 to monitor American citizens' international phone calls and emails to find suspect of terrorism. This was later ruled unconstitutional. In 2002, President Bush imprisoned suspects of terrorism that were caught in Afghanistan at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. The prison at Guantanamo Bay became the focus of international controversy in 2004 due to the way prisoners were being interrogated, which referred to a form of torture. Bush and his administration denied that the U.S. practiced torture. In 2005, it was later confirmed by the CIA that some suspects were interrogated by the use of waterboarding. The act of pouring water on a person's face to simulate drowning. The act of forcing the prisoners on hunger strikes to eat also was used. Around September of 2002, Bush and other high administration officials began to draw attention to the Iraqi President Saddam Hussein and the suspicion that Iraq had or was trying to create weapons of mass destruction. Bush feared that Hussein might be providing terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda with biological, chemical, and nuclear weapons. On March 17th, Bush issued an ultimatum to Saddam Hussein for his family and him to leave Iraq and or be removed by force. Hussein rejected the ultimatum, and Bush ordered an invasion of Iraq called Operations of Iraqi Freedom. The U.S. began an airstrike in early April. U.S. forces entered Baghdad. Hussein's dictatorship was quickly collapsed, and he was later captured, tried, and executed by Iraqis in 2006 for his crimes against Iraqi citizens during his rule.
Why do you think Bush's main focus was on terrorism and protecting America?
I think that was his main focus because that was a really big issue during that time, and he wanted to tackle it first before handling other issues. And yeah.
Do you think the way Bush reacted to 9/11 was good?
No, because that was very prejudiced and not he could have calmed down, let everything settle down, thought of a right idea, and then acted on it. But no, he just acted out of anger and impulse.
Thank you, Grant, for all that. Wait, I'm receiving breaking news about a terrorist attack on September 11, 2001. Hannah, can you cover this breaking news?
Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, a terrorist attack has taken place in the U.S. This is looking to be one of America's worst attacks by terrorists. We've been told that members of the terrorist group Al-Qaeda have hijacked 4 planes and are headed to 3 of America's historic and most important locations: the Twin Towers, or the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the White House. These 2 places are very important to the American economy, and if they were to be destroyed, this could cause a major setback to our economy. 2 planes have already struck the Twin Towers, and the 3rd plane has struck the Pentagon. Thankfully, the 4th plane headed toward what some people would say the White House crashed in the field in Pennsylvania. We here at BHTV are all in shock and give prayers to those families who traveled today and to those who were in any of these buildings or planes. And also, we would like to honor those who have fallen from this horrific attack. We have yet to hear from any type of government officials, but this seems to be the beginning of war with Al-Qaeda. Let's get a closer look at the Twin Towers coming from you live in Manhattan, New York. Kenneth, take it away.
Where were you during 9/11? How did you feel? Well, I was on my way home from work, and I started to see the buildings fall down. I was feeling scared because I thought tons of people were going to get hurt.
Do you believe in the conspiracy theories about 9/11?
No, I think it was all terrorists.
What do you think about the government monitoring every single email and phone call?
Well, I think it's pretty messed up because, like, there's some sensitive stuff out there, and you know.
Should everyone in American custody be tried before they're in prison?
No, they should not.
Thanks, Kenneth. Wow. This is going to cause many fatalities and bring negative impact among the American society and economy. We have news experts, Mr. Jackson Edwards, today to inform you of all the tragedies we have underwent after these attacks. Now take it away, Jackson.
Thank you, Hannah. 9/11 was one of the worst attacks on the U.S. in history. It killed nearly 3,000 people and the 19 people that hijacked all the planes. Among those that died were 343 firefighters, 23 New York City police officers, and 37 Port Authority officers. Back to you, Hannah.
Thanks, Jackson. And now we're going to a commercial break.
This is BHTV coming at you live from the Bowie Library.
Welcome back to BHTV. Obama was the first black president in the U.S. He served as president from 2009 to 2017. During this time, he made many accomplishments. He ran for the Democratic Party and succeeded. Before his presidency, he served as the Senator of Illinois from 2005 to 2008. He was the third African American to be voted to that party since Reconstruction in 1877. He started his presidency off strong. He won a Nobel Prize for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. Did you all know that?
No, Kai, I didn't know that.
Well, that's just the beginning of his presidency. Obama began taking small steps for big changes for the people of America. He signed an executive order. This executive order banned excessive interrogation techniques. It also ordered the closing of the controversial military detention facility in Guantanamo Bay, which is located in Cuba. It also proposed a fresh start to strained relations with Russia.
Whoa. What else did he do?
Well, in June of 2009, he traveled to Cairo to deliver a historic speech in which he reached out to the Muslim world. With all these efforts, Obama received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009. When he accepted the Nobel Peace Prize, he said, "Evil does not exist in the world. There will be times when nations, acting individually or in concert, will find the use of force not only necessary, but morally justified." Barack Obama began fighting for health care for all. Patty, could you tell us more about this?
Yes, of course. Kai. Barack Obama began fighting for health care reform, trying to make health care affordable for people of all sorts of income. Republicans across the board complained that the Democratic proposals constituted a quote-unquote government takeover of health care that would provide too costly and mortgage the future of generations to come. Although, with all the power the Republicans used to try and deter Obama from achieving this goal, Obama continuously pushed through. House Democrats responded in November of 2009 by passing a bill that called for sweeping reform, including a creation of quote-unquote public option, a lower-cost government-run program that would act as a competition for private insurance companies. The Republicans who were part of the Power of Six shut this down, leaving Democrats feeling like they would have to start all over again.
What did Barack Obama do when that happened?
Well, Obama went around preaching for a right to health care for all. He signed an executive order to promise that the worries of the people doubting him would not become a reality. Obama worked on a legislation. This legislation, once all its effects have taken place over the next 4 years, prohibit denial of coverage on the basis of pre-existing conditions and the extent of health care to some 30 million previously uninsured Americans. The bill made the attainment of health care insurance mandatory for all citizens, but it also called for a tax increase on the wealthiest Americans that would largely bankroll subsidies for premium payments for families earning less than $88,000 per year. Moreover, the bill promised a tax credit to small businesses that provide coverage for their employees. In some corners, the bill was considered an unconstitutional government takeover of an industry representing 1/6 of the economy, and in others it was hailed as a legislation as monumental as that which had come out of the civil rights movement. This led to Obamacare. We will now go to Samuel Standard to tell us all about Obamacare and the statistics.
In 2007, the U.S. had been going through a recession. The unemployment rate had reached its highest point at more than 10% in 2009. It was getting harder for more and more people to afford the health care they had a right to. During Obama's presidency, he had begun to strive for a change. With that change, created Obamacare. Obamacare is the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act of 2010. It makes health care more affordable for everyone by lowering costs for those who can't afford them. It is the most comprehensive piece of legislation since the Social Security Act of 1935. It is also the largest revamp of the U.S. healthcare system since the 1960s. It is named for President Barack Obama, who championed healthcare reform during his term from 2009 to 2017. This bill also allowed people to afford better insurance. Obamacare made it so insurance companies can't exclude people with pre-existing conditions. It makes it so insurers are also barred from dropping anyone who they become sick, and it's made it so parents are allowed to have their children up to age 26 on their plans. Now, let's make the impact clear with some statistics. When Obamacare had just started in 2010, 16.3% of Americans were lacking health insurance. But in 2016, a study showed that now only 8.8% of Americans were lacking health insurance. In 2017, 29.3 million people, or 9.1% of the population, were uninsured, according to estimates from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's National Health Interview. That's slightly up from 28.6 million people, or 9% who didn't have health insurance in 2016. Last season, about 12.2 million people signed up for Obamacare plans that were in effect for 2017. The actual number of people who paid their first month's premiums, which is the required enrollment to be official, was about 9.9 million as of June. Now, back to you, Patricia.
Thank you, Sam, for all that information. Now, back to you, Kai, for more information on Obama's presidency.
Thank you, Patricia. In 2008, Obama had to find a way to fix the economy because the GDP and unemployment rate decreased. Then, in June of 2009, Obama became surprised that General Motors turned around their company by necessitating $60 million after being bankrupt. In 2010, Obama continued to repair the economy with the upcoming summer that he called Recovery Summer. He continued to recover America's economy by getting a bill passed by Congress that was very important, and American citizens even declared it to be one of the biggest since President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal. Nadella, take it away.
Do you think Barack Obama, being the first African-American president, did a lot for the African-American community?
Of course it did. I mean, he was the first black president. All the other white candidates specifically were running the country. No Hispanics, no blacks, no diversity. So having the first black president, he wanted to make changes for our community and the minorities in America to help them thrive.
Do you think Obamacare had a positive or negative effect on the economy?
I believe it did have a very positive effect on the economy. I believe that immigrants coming over to the U.S. had a chance to stay because of him, and that he was trying to help them become citizens, and people are trying to become citizens every day because they don't want to live here without, paying their duties. I mean, if you're part of the country, you have to pay to be here, and we all pay taxes. And it brought health care from 16.8% approximately to about 8%, and that it really helped the entire economy because it just brought everyone to a better, higher point in this area.
Why do you think Obama wanted to reach out to the Muslim world? Do you think it benefited us?
I believe that he wanted to reach out to the Muslim world because of all of the negative effects that terrorism had on us, and that not all Muslims are terrible. It's just a certain group of people, and he wanted to tell that to them just so they would know that we don't believe that they are bad people. It's just that there's so much negativity because the group that came from that area is doing so much harmful things. And yes, of course it did benefit because they listened.
Thank you all
for watching
BH
TV.
See you next time.